So today I'm going to be reviewing one of the newest products that we brought into the clinic, which is the R-Retinoate by Medik8. What's special about this product is it contains a new molecule of retinol. And obviously retinol has been around since the dark ages. So we all know that as an ingredient, it works. It helps to manage the aging process. It's great for helping with pigmentation, brightening the skin, but it's also very good for helping to manage breakouts, acne, congestion. So it's a really great ingredient to introduce into your regime. However, in the past, retinol has been quite irritating. So a lot of people have been quite worried about using it because it can cause a lot of dryness and redness. So really, modern retinols and the science behind them has all been based on trying to still maintain the results that we can get from a retinol, but in a molecule that's not so irritating. And that's where Medik8 at the moment are excelling in their technology. So I'm going to talk to you about the R-Retinoate. This is literally only been out for a couple of months, so obviously I've been trialing it. I've been using retinols for a long time. I generally tend to use the 0.5% pure retinols that I've already mentioned. So when they sent this product to me, I was like, okay, this sounds quite interesting. It's a new hybrid retinol molecule which takes two sort of derivatives of retinol, mixes them together. It's a patented technology. I think Medik8 have own the patent for the entire world, so they're the only company at the moment with this particular technology. And what I found interesting is that they are claiming that it's 8 times more effective than a traditional 0.5% pure retinol, but that you're not going to get the irritation that you would normally see with the prescription retinol, like tretinoin, and also any retinol product that's over 1% is also prescription. And with those, you get a lot of irritation when you first start using them. Retinols are a vitamin A derivative, and there are lots of different vitamin A derivatives, and there are derivatives of retinol itself. A common misconception about retinols or vitamin A based products is that they are exfoliants, and they're not actually exfoliants. If you are peeling and flaking when you're using them, it is probably just because your skin's getting used to it and it's causing irritation, and it's the irritation that's causing the flaking. So when you're using something like an AHA or a BHA, that is intentionally and correctly exfoliating the skin. And you also see some flaking with that, but it's much more controlled. With the retinol-based products, you should start to notice a reduction in the flaking once your skin gets used to it. If you're getting a lot of redness and irritation, you need to reduce how often you're using your retinol, or reduce the strength of the product that you're using. The more modern retinols that we have in our clinic are encapsulated in a special sort of slow release liposomal bubble, so that when it goes into the skin it's not quite so irritating, but there is still some potential for that retinol kind of type irritation to occur, which is the redness and some peeling and flaking. High street retinols that you can sort of buy in Boots or over the counter in a lot of the big chemists and things, they tend to be retinol esters. So they're kind of a derivative of a retinol, and a retinol is already a derivative of vitamin A. Pure vitamin A is very, very aggressive. Retinol is one step down from that, and that's really what a lot of product companies have been using for very many years. But the high street companies have been using a step down from that. They've actually been using retinol esters. So you'll see lots of kind of like retinol type words that don't actually say retinol. And that's because they're just derivatives of them. It doesn't mean they're not effective, but they're certainly not as effective as the pure retinols and the higher strength ingredients. So when we look at cosmeceuticals, traditionally we are able to sell sort of anything up to 0.5% pure retinol within a cream without a prescription. When it gets over 0.5%, the next step up tends to be 1%. You actually need to have a prescription from a doctor or a dermatologist to be able to use it, so that's really active. So what Medik8 have done is they wanted to try and get the kind of 1% reaction in terms of results within the skin, but without the irritation that we would traditionally see. So what they've done is they've created these new hybrid molecules which actually combine the pure retinol in an encapsulated molecule, and it's basically what they call their retinoate range, which is this new hybrid molecule. So they're saying it's 8 times more effective than, for instance, a 0.5% pure retinol. But you're not going to get any of the irritation that you would get with a 1% prescription retinol. So really, really good place for people to start that are a bit worried about using a retinol product. Well, because retinol works on repairing the DNA of the skin and encouraging cellular renewal and stimulating collagen, it takes several months for you to notice a lot of those benefits. I think a lot of people want to use a product for sort of 2-3 weeks and go, gosh, how am I going to see any results? With the Retinoate, they say you will see some benefits after about 4 weeks. That tends to be more of a brightening effect on the skin, perhaps a little bit of smoothing. You know, the texture of the skin might feel a little bit more supple, which is great. But when you are looking at things like long-term acne, congestion, and sort of more lines, wrinkles, and the actual quality of your skin, and also more noticeable pigmentation marks, I definitely always say to people it's going to be probably 8 to 12 weeks before you see really good results with that. And it's just because it takes time. You know, you've got to imagine this product's got to sink right down into the bottom layer of your skin. Your skin takes a minimum of sort of, it's about 26 days when we're in our 20s, early 30s for our skin to do a full cycle, but you're not treating that first cycle. What you're doing is you're encouraging the cells at the bottom to become healthier, and it can sometimes take 2 or 3 cycles of skin before that has a visible impact on how your skin works. So retinol has been known as an anti-aging ingredient, but for me really it's a healthy skin ingredient. It's essential. You know, if I could have sort of 2 things that I get everyone to use, or would recommend everyone would use, it would be a retinol based product and an SPF, so you're protecting your skin from the sun, and then you're using your vitamin A based product to really repair and strengthen the skin from the inside out. If you're a newbie to using retinols, or you're trying a new product which might be a little bit stronger than you've used in the past, the same rule applies. You have to build up your tolerance to any vitamin A based product. So the Retinoate, even though it is much less irritating than a traditional pure retinol product, it still is very active. So the instructions on each individual product will vary, but for the most part, when you're starting to use a retinol based product, you will be using it probably twice a week. So let's say every 4 days, and you'll do that for maybe 2-3 weeks. And if your skin doesn't sort of have any type of reaction, there's not, maybe a little bit of dryness but not too much, and there's no redness, then you'll start doing it every 3rd night, and then you'll do that again for several weeks, so anything from sort of 3 to 6 weeks. Then you will try and reduce it to every other night, and for a lot of my clients they will stick to every other night, but some people will then gradually move up to using it every night. But what is important to remember, that even once you get to using your retinol quite regularly, there are still times where your skin may still flare up and get a bit dry and flaky. It could be that you've been traveling or you've been away and your skin's got slightly dehydrated. If you've been out in the sun, or if you've been unwell, air conditioning, central heating, all of these things can affect our skin. So if you do find that you've been using your retinol really happily for several months, and then suddenly you start to get a bit of irritation and dryness and redness, don't panic. all you need to do is cut back on how often you use it, leave it for sort of anything up to a week, let your skin completely settle down, and then go back to building it up. If you've been using it for a long time, I would probably say you could start trying to use it every second or third day rather than going for every fourth day, and then get back until you build up to using it again every night or every other night, whatever you were comfortable with before. So sometimes the skin can become irritated through other reasons, and which means that it will be more reactive to the retinol product when you're using it. But stop using the retinol, stop using your AHAs, BHAs for a week. Just use hopefully you're using antioxidants, SPF and hydrating products. And then once the skin has calmed down, the redness has disappeared and the flaking has reduced, then start reintroducing your actives again slowly, as we've already discussed. A little bit more about the product itself. So what did I like about the product? Well, I liked the sound of not having irritation but getting better results, so obviously that's a win-win. There is a little bit of fragrance in it, which I'm generally not a fan of, and I was quite surprised to see that in a Medik8 product, because they are normally fragrance free, and my skin is particularly sensitive to any type of fragrance, but they've sort of said it is a dermatologically tested fragrance just to take the edge off, because the active ingredients in the product don't smell that great. And so I was like, okay, going to be interesting to see how that goes with my skin. The thing that I really love about the product is it contains both ceramides, which are really repairing to the barrier function of the skin, and peptides, which are the only other ingredient other than vitamin A derivatives, retinols, which have been proven to have a long-term effect on the cell DNA within our skin. So they're the only two ingredients that really have a massive long-term impact on skin health. So the fact they're both in this product is this new molecule, which apparently is much more effective but less irritating, and amazing ceramides, which I love. So what did I think of the product? Well, the texture is quite nice actually. It's not too rich, but you do feel a little bit like it has a slight moisturizing effect on the skin. So when you put it on at night, I certainly wouldn't put on another product. And you can kind of see when we are using this, it's got this lovely sort of apricot look to it, and it definitely has more of a consistency. A lot of my retinol products that I normally use are more gel-like and serum-like, so this does have a little bit of a cream quality to it, which I think is probably the ceramides in there. The smell is apricot, and when I first put it on, I was quite worried about it, because as I say, I'm not a fragrance fan, and my skin is absolutely not a fragrance fan. I get a rash from so many different products, including a lot of SPFs and things that have any type of fragrance in, but with this I had no problems. So obviously they have managed to, I think it's more they've taken the ester of the fragrance rather than it being an actual sort of perfume in there. Because I've been using retinol for a long time, I can't say that my skin was sort of instantly transformed using the product, but I certainly didn't get any irritation from it, which is fantastic. And I did feel that my skin was really maintaining well, as it would when I was using my normal 0.5% retinols, which I have been using, as I say, for several years. Probably the best thing that I noticed about it compared to my other retinols is just that little bit of, in the morning, the skin feeling a bit more plump and hydrated. And again, that goes back to the ceramides. So what is my opinion on this product as a whole? It's not cheap. It is, I think, just over £200 for the bottle. I sell my other 0.5% retinols, I think, for roughly £100, so nearly double the cost. Are you going to get double the results? I think it works a little bit differently, and I do think it has some benefits that other retinol products that I currently have don't. I love the fact that it combines the peptides and the ceramides in there. Again, both of them are going to help to improve your long-term skin health. If you are worried about retinols irritating your skin and you are prone to getting irritation, I definitely think this is a great product to bring into your regime, because that irritation level is really low down compared to a lot of the other vitamin A based products out there. So if you're looking to sort of invest in one real high science product in your regime, I would definitely say it is worth giving this a go. But always remember, it does take time to see the results with this. The science that's gone into this, that's where the price comes from. It's the newest, most high-tech skin technology in a cream out there at the moment, and for that reason we are paying a little bit more for it. But for me, I'll definitely be continuing to use it for the meantime.